Hello there, and welcome to another feature preview video for Thrawn's Revenge Imperial Civil War 2.3.5, probably, as well as Fall of the Republic. So about a month ago, we put out a video talking about the influence mechanics and how that's going to work in both mods. There'll be a link in the description if you haven't seen that or don't remember that. Basically, the idea behind all these systems is to help the galactic level have a bit more depth, help factions and planets all feel a bit more unique. And so I mentioned in that video that each faction will have its own unique government mechanics that will also influence their playstyle and give you a bit more to do with each faction, change how you're playing a bit more. It'll tie into things like research, story progression, and all that. For the New Republic, which is what we're going to be looking at today, that mechanic is based around their Chief of State and the Senate. So for the Chief of State, there's always going to be a person within the New Republic who is their Chief of State, and each Chief of State possibility has different effects. There will be a bunch of different options, but right now we have 4 coded in that you can choose from. There's a few that'll be listed here as well, so let's take a look at that again. Obviously, this is all fairly early in development, so stuff like how easy this is to read will be changing as well, because right now it's a bit compressed together, but as you can see here, we have Leia Organa Solo, Mon Mothma, Borsfalia, Pont Gavrisum. There's also Viki Shesh for demonstration purposes at the moment. But there will be some candidates that are always available. So you can see Leia, Mon Mothma, Borsk, and Gavrisum are currently always present. But then you have Viki Shesh down here, who requires you to control Kuat before she'll be able to be chosen as a candidate. Yeah, so there will be a bunch of different options there, and they'll each have their own unique effects. So if you click on one of your planets and go to the political or story menu page, you'll see right now we have Leia, Borsk, who doesn't have an icon at the moment, Mon Mothma, and Pont Gavrisum. And that will also show you their effects if you want to just see it from here. So with Leia, you have the effect of all planets gaining 1 additional influence level. With Borsk, you can research the BAC, and each person will also give maxed out influence on their home planet. When applicable, because some people had theirs destroyed, some have their home planet not actually in the mod. But right now, a lot of the effects are still being worked on and brainstormed. So a lot of this is just to give you an idea of how it'll work. But anyways, Leia's effect is that all planets gain an influence level. Borsfalia, you get the research and maxed out on Bothui. Mon Mothma, right now, it just maxes out Chandrilla's influence, though that will... obviously she'll get something else. There's one thing I want her to do that may involve another mechanic being done, so that could be delayed a bit. Then Pont Gavrisum, he adds 2 influence, but only on planets where you can get a vassal state, and then gives you better relationships with those vassals. If you missed the last video, I do recommend you watch that so you can see how vassals work. But that's kind of going to be Gavrisum's strength. And as you can see here, or not here, wrong button, Corey. As you can see here, your current Chief of State when you start, in this map at least, is Mon Mothma, and supported candidate is Mon Mothma. So you are able to pick a preferred candidate. Let's choose Leia, just for this. Usually it'll be an election every 15 weeks where a new Chief of State gets selected. You can obviously have the same person re-elected for another term. But anyways, you select which one you want to support, and then the way it works is every planet where you have above a certain influence level counts as a vote for your candidate. Every planet where you have below a certain influence level counts as a vote against your candidate. That's the kind of thing that we'll be able to flesh out and expand a little bit more, but that'll come after the initial release of the mechanics. It'll probably get fleshed out so that different planets have different preferences and that sort of thing. And then you're basically running the actual Senate with that. We don't want to overcomplicate the systems, though. We want people to still be able to find them intuitive, get the effects out of them without dedicating a huge amount of time to like min-maxing. We do want the ability for some of that to be there, but we don't want it to be an overbearing system for any faction. But anyways, for the purposes of this video, I've reduced it from 15 weeks per election to just every 2 weeks so you guys can see kind of how it works. But you just pick who you want to support, and it gives you time if you want to reconsider that. We'll probably speed up the building, but If we give that a second, and we go here, supported candidate is Leia now, and current Chief of State is still Mon Mothma. So we'll just speed through to the end of next week. You can see we also have the news feed, which goes over where stuff is being invaded, who's conquering planets. Basically a lot of the stuff the droid advisor used to do, so you don't have to go into the history log. Okay, election just happened. Leia Organa Solo has won New Republic elections. And there will probably be other text prompts with stuff to make it a little bit more engaging, but right now that's just a basic system. So we go in here, government overview. Current Chief of State is Leia. Supported candidate still Leia. So you can see here, Chief of State, Leia bonus. That just tells you that the Chief of State is there. It's more of a debug thing, but you can see we do have Leia. So Mon Calamari, influence level is 4. If we go around, influence is a bit higher. But let's say we want to go for Borsk next. Let's do that. So Borsphalia is now our supported candidate for the next election. Because a lot of the era stuff, we want to tie more units for especially the New Republic to research rather than just strict era changes. We want to have era changes as kind of a container for events. All right, we got Borsk. Yeah, so era changes are going to be kind of a container for events. And then there's going to be research on top of that, other events within them on top of that, so that it's not just strictly tied to the leaders. And generally, like, I made the influence or the requirements for winning the election a lot lower for this video, just so we'd see exactly how it works. But Borsk, since we have him in Chief of State position, can research both an assault cruiser, although our influence is now down because Leia isn't around. But that's basically how the system's going to work. Hope you guys are looking forward to that. We're going to get another video out with the Imperial and then CSA and Hapen and every other government mechanic as they get fleshed out. So Influence and the New Republic government will probably come in 2.3.4 or 2.3.5. We've got 2.3.3 coming out on the 26th. It'll probably be late October, early November, where you guys start getting the influence mechanics and the government stuff in game when it's more fleshed out and more tested. But again, hope you guys are looking forward to these changes. They should hopefully add a lot of depth to the galactic level and be a good basis for a lot of story stuff to happen. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time. Bye.